literally just doing my thing here. I've turned it on mute so you shouldn't hear anything.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, do your thing if you got to. No worries at all. Hey, welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, Crunk Chocolate, a show where we break verbal bread with a quote-unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Shout out to all of our Patreon members who will be enjoying this full episode. For all you lovelies that are watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of those podcasting apps, you're only going to get like 10 minutes and like 11 seconds, 20 seconds. I always feel bad cutting it off right at 10. If you subscribe to our Patreon for $6 a month, you can get so much extra content and a little bias. It's pretty fantastic. I don't know if you know. And it's we got City content, we have non-City content. It's a little something for everybody. You just get one less beer at the bar, one less latte in the morning. You just make coffee at home. I'm not telling you to not get caffeine. Just make it at home. Save yourself a little time, some money, and put it towards us, and make us feel special. So check out the episode descriptions. The link is right there for you. Today we have a wonderful episode for you, Shady Gang. It has been some time since we reconnected with Burnley. They've been doing their thing, not in the Premier League, but they're here now. They currently sit in 16th. They're above West Ham and Wolverhampton, who look big trash this season. So can they stay up? How is Kyle Walker doing? Are they taking good care of him? We have so many questions to ask, to find out about, and to help us. Shout out Tough Crest. Shout out our good friend. Shady Gang, give it up for Joe. What's up, friend? How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Love the introductions. They seem to be getting better and better every season, every other season, because we do tend to go missing, like you mentioned there, for a year. But your introductions tend to be getting better and better and better, mate. I love it. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Hey, 4 years in now that we've been doing this, I think we got a good run going. So yeah. I'm super excited to. This is, I guess, a Burnley side that naturally, company going there, it didn't go the best, but that was a good step towards me enjoying and appreciating what Burnley is as a football club. Now we'll get to it with the manager, but I really do enjoy Scott Parker. He's a great guy, great head of hair, and
yeah,
that also helps.
Exact opposite of Vincent Kompany when it comes to hair.
And hey, maybe that's key. Maybe that was important. You couldn't succeed without having a gaffer with a nice head of hair. You just couldn't take him seriously. It also doesn't help that Kompany just like constantly berates and screams at everybody around him. I call it a little tough love. Maybe Scott is a little more purposeful and empathetic with the way that he manages. Oh man, but let's start off here, something light before we get into all things Burnley. What is something that you think is overrated about football?
About football in general, and this is quite a broad sort of like observation, but it's the Premier League, and I don't mean that in terms of quality. I do think it's. I'm going to instantly contradict myself because I do think it is the best league in the world. However, it used to be so much better, and you know what's ruined it? It's not money. It's not City winning everything for 6 years or whatever it was. It's not now Liverpool being the champions, and nobody likes Liverpool.
Nobody.
It's VAR. VAR has come in and it's ruined it, and it's always a good juxtaposition for me because we do get relegated every now and then. I think that's quite well documented. And then we do get promoted again every now and then. That is also quite well documented. But I get to sit there and watch football in not its purest form, but a form of football that's a lot purer than what the Premier League is. It's become far too saturated. It's become far too like a soap opera. And VAR, I mean, I'm saying this to a fan of a Big Six club, so obviously you guys may feel free to disagree. I just think it's another layer of subconscious bias towards the bigger clubs. Like, if you see some of the decisions that went against us at Old Trafford, like the penalty is probably a penalty in the modern game, but it wasn't 20 years ago. And it's one of them things, it probably isn't in the Championship either, because the referee did originally let it go, but Anthony is pulling Ahmad's shirt. But Ahmad's looking and looking and looking until he gets in the box. And as soon as he gets into the box, he throws himself forward. So the current rule states that if you're pulling his shirt outside the box and then it gets into the box and then he falls over, that it is a penalty. So Ahmad knows this. Ahmad knows that VAR will come down on his side. So he's just looking to get into the box and throws himself to the floor. What does VAR do? Looks at it from that rule perspective. So again, you could say they've come to the right decision. But then just like, yeah, but it's just not how football's played. Footballs should be played in a better form. And I think VAR is slowly ruining the Premier League. It's slowly ruining the game of football. There's been talk about it being introduced into the Championship, and I would be devastated if they did that. But ironically enough, I actually don't think it's horrendous in some of the other leagues. I think the Premier League do it incorrectly. I think VAR is done by the English referees, or should I say the referees in the English game incorrectly. And I also feel that I genuinely believe that sometimes, like I said, I don't think it's a big conspiracy and they've done it to introduce VAR so they can make sure the Big Six get their own way. I don't think it is that in the slightest. But what I do feel is referees always would have had a subconscious bias towards Man United back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, how many times did Man United get a penalty at Old Trafford? Probably about 500 times. Right. So referees will just naturally do that because they have a subconscious bias to these clubs. Now that subconscious bias has just gone into VAR. Like, I don't know if you've seen the disallowed goal that Burnley scored at Old Trafford. Lyle Foster was offside from this bit here, that bit. You can't score. You should only be offside from a part of your body that you can score from. If Lyle Foster bundles the ball in the net from that part, goes like that into the net at Old Trafford in front of the Stretford end, is it allowed? Absolutely not. The referee or VAR disallows it. And then you saw the goal that that Man United scored against Chelsea this weekend, and he was more offside than what Lyle Foster was. But yet, when they draw the lines, they're making it look like Lyle's more. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And again, it's a long-winded answer from something that's meant to be a sort of light part of your podcast. But for me, the Premier League's overrated, but it shouldn't be because it has the quality and has been the best league in the world several years running and still is. But VAR is slowly ruining the game. And again, obviously, you're a City fan. I know you have got to games in the past. But as a fan that lives in Burnley, goes to every single home game without fail, goes to the majority of the away games, when you're a fan in the stadium, it's even worse because you don't know what's happening half the time.
Oh yeah,
and it's just hanging around. Exactly, it's just ruining the atmosphere, and it's not as bad on TV because you sat there with your mate going, "Oh, I think this, I think that." But when you're in the stadium, you're like, "What's happening?" I don't know. Mm-hmm. And you'll see something on screen. It says "checking possible offside," and you're like, "All right, can we see it?" No. And then they might show it you at the end, and you're just like, "Oh." And it's completely as a match-going fan. And I realise again, I'm saying this to a City fan who obviously lives across the pond, and I'm sure the majority of your listeners also are in that position. Some will get to games like you have done and things like that. But as a fan that goes to games, and the reason why I fell in love with football isn't necessarily the 22 on the pitch. Don't get me wrong, that bit's good of it, but it's everything else about it. It's the atmosphere. It's the smell of the pies. It's the smell of piss as you walk up the stairs. Stuff like that. It's what it's all. It's that community feel, and it ruins it for those people, for the people that go to the game. Sorry, that's meant to be a very quick part of your podcast. You'll probably have to clip all that up. At least the Patreon users will get to see that whole rant. There you go.
Yeah. Oh no, it's staying in, baby, because VAR is trash. I am very much with you. I hate it. Like, referees being wrong is a part of the game. Like, we can't always be right, and even like you said, I feel like when lines have to be drawn out, that's when you just got to be like, it is what it is. Like, whatever the call was, give it or take it. Because before VAR, everyone was arguing whether it was offside or not, and now with VAR, we're still having that argument because we don't trust VAR. It takes so long.
Yeah.
I grew up playing rugby, so I'm used to VAR, but in a rugby sense. But rugby is so much. They tell you specifically what they're looking for. You hear the referee talking to the VAR referee.
Exactly.
You see the situation happening up on the screen. There's so much communication, whereas you don't know what's going on.
As well. Like, I'm a massive fan of cricket. Not to make myself look like a boring old man, but I'm a massive fan of cricket, right? But with cricket, the rules are black and white.